everyone, it's Christine. Welcome to this video about 3 things to know about this new moon in Scorpio. So this new moon is happening on Monday, November 13th at 4:27 a.m. Eastern Time, New York City time for reference. It's happening at 20 degrees and 44 minutes of this water sign of Scorpio. And immediately what I channeled was, you know the truth. So this time has a lot of energy around discovering what is and what isn't, of diving deep with connections with yourself, with others, in particular, what's real and what's not. Themes around this lunation center around intimacy, power, control, resources, especially with others, sex, empowerment, and truth. I also wanted to add anything that's hidden, mysterious, occult, and transformation. So depending on where Scorpio hits your area of life in your natal chart, those are areas that are going to be amplified too. To know about this lunation, I wanted to just give you a little bit of energetic astrological background. I am intuitive when it comes to astrology, and there are so many things happening for me that feel like this is the perfect fruit that you've picked and you're squeezing it and you're going to make the perfect lemonade. Has nothing to do with so much the aesthetics of it, with maybe the sensory aspect, as it does realizing the truth of many things. And so first we have the moon opposing Uranus retrograde in Taurus, and this lunation is also conjunct Mars in Scorpio. And so for me, these energies bring about a sudden epiphany. It could be something within you or something that you just notice through something or someone else. And I feel like this also, with the Mars energy, allows us to push several things, to push forward, to move forward in our own truth and what it is that we want to pursue, especially in the Scorpio areas of our house, natal chart, I should say. And this energy too with Mars, I feel like there could be a struggle here with letting go of things that no longer serve us. This could be people too, but in particular I'm getting habits, things that we may do to ourselves in the form of self-sabotage. Could be fears as well. Things that we need to come into some type of reckoning with and ask ourselves, has this been helping me? Because I feel like this is one of the last strings and it's being undone. And it's an opportunity to let go of that. This is a brand new slate, especially since we just recently had the lunar eclipse, full moon in Taurus, ending that Taurus Scorpio ecliptic cycle, I should say, with regards to the former nodes. And so this is a move forward to let go of things or people or anything that doesn't help us. And it's a way to connect to what it is that we feel guided is our own truth internally. There's a guiding light. There's been so many repeating themes about lights, about knowing your internal truth and realizing what is right for you, what feels good for you, what you're connecting to. And it's a brand new level. It's a brand new, you could connect this to like flipping a magazine page, but it's almost, it's you, but it's an enhanced version. This is also an opportunity to really use that energy, that momentum, to figure out what is causing any internal struggles within you or any external conflicts. What do you need to resolve? What next steps do you need to take in order to move in that direction? Perhaps you need to consult new resources. So think about any particular people or, again, resources like books, teachers, courses, or even yourself, just sitting yourself down and asking yourself, these are the things that I've tried, they're not working, what can I do? And again, think about the themes relating to your own particular life where Scorpio touches. I also got the image of bumper cars. You know, when you're driving in that little space of bumper cars and someone just hits you and you feel it, and usually because it's so small and confined and there's large bumpers, it's a little bit more protective so you don't feel it. But that's the energy I'm feeling with the opposition to Uranus. We may be getting internal nudges, particularly since this planet is retrograde in Taurus. It's going to happen internally. So this is more introspective energy that's going to allow us to enact and take and probably in many ways apply this energy in our practical everyday routine, day to day, I should say. And so this pop of energy in conjunction with Mars, there's something here that you may have been finagling, almost like a pulling, tug of war kind of game. And this is an opportunity to finally take a look at it and ask yourself, you know what? I've been dealing with trying to go to bed earlier or trying to create a budget. It's just now I have to do it. No more planning. This is the time for action with these energies, especially with Mars. Take action no matter how small, right? If it's about money or if it's about intimacy, start researching and pick someone this week to talk to, a counselor, a therapist, or a book, whatever it is. There's a time here of shifting out of that and finding some type of resolution. This lunation also brings about mastery. Again, speaking to what I just spoke on, this is a new mastery on something that you have been trying to heal, resolve, overcome, undo in a positive way. So you're reaching another level in this particular matter. Okay, we also have Pluto in Capricorn, squaring the North Node in Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars. So for me, intuitively, what I got was a transformation happening on what it is you truly desire, and you're feeling that impetus, that impulse, guiding you, almost like an arrow energy, maybe quite forcefully internally, in one direction. And you may be feeling conflicted because there's something or someone that is almost acting as an impediment, like a block, that's preventing you from full-on springing forward. It's like a slinky or a spring. You can spring, but then you come back down because it's rooted, it's anchored. It's not able to fly by itself. So there's something here that's coming up with this lunation that could produce a shift in some type of relationship or some type of level of awareness within yourself when it comes to transforming and breaking free of some type of restriction. And wherever Aries governs in your chart, you'll get a better idea of what the particulars include, and also to some other relationships and aspects, because I feel like what you desire is at odds. So there are some, again, there's a little bit of some tension with this, but I feel like there's a breaking free energy with this lunation of being cautious of anything that's been holding you back, especially if it's been repetitive, especially if it's been the same thing, because that could indicate cycles that are going to repeat again. There's something here that this illumination with the new moon in Scorpio is bringing to you, is going to unfold to you, to do things in a very different way. Because remember that Uranian energy, you're going to get an inkling and a new idea, a new way of looking at things that's going to shift how you approach this particular area in your life. So what will you do? That's going to be the answer, and that's going to be something, it's like uncovering a puzzle piece that only you have. Then we have Mercury in Sagittarius square Saturn and Neptune. So be really careful about what you say. You may want to tap into the weekly energy forecast I did. I briefly mentioned Mercury in Sagittarius. But this energy, it's a fire sign. It's very, to me, it's vivacious. It's zestful, full of life. There's a lot of ideas you may want to take action on. You may be so curious and overcommit or take on too much or overburden yourself with wanting to explore and try new things. And that's the cautionary energy here. With this new moon, you may get excited because you may feel like, again, a glimmer of hope. Something is shifting, you know, or getting information on how you want this to change in this Scorpio energy of your life. So be careful of overcommitting or saying things, especially however you communicate, verbally, through email, through text, through other people, through different platforms. Be careful of overcommitting and trying to commit to too much in advance without really taking time to think about it. Because there's something here with Saturn in Neptune and Mercury in Sag where you get an idea and you just do it. But then you think, oh shit, I didn't think about how this would affect this or who this would affect or what I needed. And then you have to go back a few steps to rethink that. So if you get a really cool idea, grab yourself a drink, sit down, give yourself 15 minutes or 30 minutes and walk through that idea or whatever you want to initiate before taking that action. Because again, Saturn to me, it's almost like you're hooked in with a reel and it's reeling you in to remind you, wait a minute, was that actually the best thing to do at this time? So there's a lot of energies here, again, that are poking through to make sure that you understand what it is that you want to evolve into and pursue and also initiate. Since this is a new moon, this is a time for setting new intentions, new goals, wiping the slate clean, if you will, but also elevating if this is something that you've been working on, especially gaining mastery around. Okay. I got 3 channeled messages. The first channeled message, it's never too late, and it's not too late. So this was strongly, this came in very strongly. I saw it as if I was in a cinema and I saw the white screen and I heard it and I saw it. So for many of you that have felt, and this can pertain to so many factors, your age, where you are in life, whatever restrictions you've placed on yourself, limiting beliefs, or whatever people have been telling you, perhaps this is something you've been hearing in your mind. You can't do that. You don't have a college education. You're too old. You're too young. You're too this. You're too that. Whatever limitation pops up when you hear this message, you're being reminded that it's not too late. That is really relative on your soul path. It's never too late. Everything is cyclical. Everything dies, ends, rebirths, and it transforms. It's a cycle all the time. Think about the seasons. So I want you to remember that if there's something that you feel that you do not want to continue in your life, that's okay. If you feel like at this moment you are pursuing the wrong path, you know it internally. Maybe you're in college. You feel like this is the right thing to do because we know the whole college story. Everyone says it's the right thing to do. And you're like, this isn't the path for me. I feel it. I feel it internally. I feel it with all my being. I feel it with all my knowing. It's never too late to turn around. For those of you that feel like, gosh, I pursued or put so many of my eggs in this basket, I put so much energy cultivating or nourishing this particular passion or career or even relationship, it's not too late. You can change anything in your life at any time. That's what you're being reminded to. In the Scorpio season, in particular in this lunation, allows that. This is all about letting go of what doesn't work for you, what doesn't fit. It's about diving into the depth of your own soul and really asking yourself, is this right for me? Does this feel good? Because Scorpio energy wants true intimacy, emotional connection, also physical too. And it's willing to transform. I mean, this speaks to the practical too. It's willing to transform and take steps to get to that, to reach to that. And that's the higher level, the higher octave of Scorpio energy. So in practical ways, for example, if you recognize that there are certain beliefs holding you back, it's about acknowledging, okay, well, I have some fears. Maybe I have fears about leaving college. I keep getting a lot of education here. What is it that comes up? Maybe you're afraid that not having a degree will make you look bad, or people won't think you're smart enough, or people won't hire you. Whatever the case, it's about actually coming into terms with that, bringing that down into a practical sense and working through it, because this energy, the scorpionic energy, allows you to really connect to these elements and work through it. It's not just about saying, okay, I set an intention to release fear and then I'm good to go, and you light a candle and you just go on your merry way. You have to also take practical steps towards that. So that could mean talking to a therapist or counselor, or consulting a book on many of these topics, I'll say, or starting a journal and really getting to know yourself. There are amazing, you guys, I'm not about redoing the wheel here or reinventing things. There's an amazing amount of journal prompts and resources available on the internet. Pinterest, for example, Google, whatever search engine you use. You can create your own plan to help you connect to why you may be feeling this way, how to get through it, and what action steps you can take. Okay, message 2. Let go to move forward. And for some of you, this is once and for all. This reminded me of the weekly energy forecast where we had the 6 of Cups, and there's an attachment to the past. Some of you have. nostalgia, which is commonplace with Scorpios, I should say. There's a connection there to what was, and there could be remembrance. And I feel like this energy, this lunation is asking you, it's not so much you're being forced to let go, it's making that decision, because it's that energetic block that could be weighing you down. It's not so much the past itself, but that energy of, do I stay, do I go, do I let go, or do I move forward? It's that if and or, and that's creating imbalance. And so for many of you that may be watching this, you may be feeling that there's something that's tethering you that you're not quite ready or unsure what to do about. And that's keeping you feeling a little bit stuck. But remember, this is also too a lunation about reclaiming your power, reclaiming pieces of yourself. So if you feel like this person is holding you back, or this situation, in essence, you are giving them or that person your power. And it's almost like leaking energy, when in fact you can bring it and call it back to yourself and ask yourself, what do I actually want? And will this help me? This doesn't mean it's easy. Life isn't easy all the time. Sometimes we have to make choices where we have to release certain people or situations or make decisions because we know it's going to lead us into the best path forward, or it's going to help us grow in a more, let's say, mindful or consciously mindful way. And so letting go and moving forward with this lunation, I feel, is going to prompt you to allow you also to commit and use that energy for what it is that you do want to develop. I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm feeling emotions here. For some of you, again, like I mentioned, this is a letting go once and for all, because I feel like some may have been in cycles where you go back and forth. This could speak of relationships, especially with Scorpio energy and some of the themes I mentioned earlier, where this could concern other people. And so this is going to be a deciding factor. And for me, this lunation is about breaking free. And you're receiving this guidance where you may have to do something very different in order to move on, in order to do something that you know that you have to get out of to move on to that next new chapter. Channeled message number 3, we have using your own power in a new way. So what's been dormant is being seen or unveiled. So again, power, control, surrendering, detachment, those are also other elements of Scorpio energy. And so power, differentiation, perhaps re-examining where your power is going to, how you use it, and what it means to you are things that are coming up, and what it means to be empowered. Because when you decide and you start making decisions for yourself, you're listening to yourself. It starts, think of if you had, what I'm getting is a car battery, like a big battery. And if you don't have a car, imagine just a simple AA battery or any size. They have a certain amount of power, and when they're being utilized, the power drains. It's like that too. The more that you fulfill yourself by taking action on things that you want to do, by committing to yourself, showing up to yourself, by making decisions for yourself, and trusting yourself, your battery pack, it grows. So there's a new way of moving about. I feel like this lunation, the cycles that we've just encountered and experienced and gone through with the eclipses and also with the ending of the Scorpio Taurus eclipse, it's allowing many folks to recalibrate, but re-envision how they can utilize their own power in a new way. Again, going back to the weekly energy forecast, we got the Emperor, I remember, and the Ace of Wands. So there's something that I feel many of you want to do, and it's going to mean doing things for some on your own, or doing things in a different way that may stand out alone, where some other people may not agree, they may see it as odd or weird or whatever it is they reflect to you, but you're feeling, you know what, I'm really passionate about this. Maybe you want to help a certain type of goldfish. You know, it's something very, it could be something very refined, very specific. But again, this is going to be about doing things your way. And this isn't about refusing help or collaboration or support. It's not about being selfish or shying away or not utilizing your resources to the best of your ability. But for some of you, this could have meant reclaiming your sense of control in a new way. So you're not being subservient to others. You're not constantly acquiescing to others. You're learning to assert yourself and stand up for yourself. For me, it's a total empowerment glow up here. And it's using it in a way that leads to balance, inner balance, but also emotional happiness too. It's not a tug of war balance that some people denote. Because when people think power, there's a whole spectrum of definitions that come up. Some people think power and control, corruption, authoritarian figures, etc. But this is using it in a healthy way where you actually can exact and also exert some of your own control and your own influence in a new way. Because of that energy we got in the weekly energy forecast that it keeps coming back, the Emperor. Some of you are going to reclaim a leadership spotlight in your own life. So you're taking accountability for your life. And with Saturn turning direct, some of you are just going to be saying, especially with this new moon in Scorpio, that's it, I'm ready. I'm ready. You know, I'm ready to do my inner work. I'm ready to start learning this. I'm ready to become a business owner or whatever it is. There's so many different themes depending on where Scorpio hits in your chart. Maybe you're up leveling that area in your life. Again, it could be finances. That's a big theme with Scorpio. Shared resources, but also shared connection, emotions, intimacy, vulnerability. Really allowing that, I call it like an internal vault, really allowing yourself to open up, to be your true self, because there's a risk when you're vulnerable with someone. Anyone, doesn't have to be romantic. You are presenting your truest self and you run the risk of it not being reciprocated or responded to in the way that you want. So you're showing up for yourself and to others in a different way. And this is incredibly powerful because it's going to mean that your energy has shifted in a new frequency. Your vibration is different. You're attracting new opportunities, very different than what you had before. I feel like, you know, when you put on a fresh new pair of like a clothing item, like pajamas, I'll say, or when you go somewhere and you buy a t-shirt and it feels really soft, or like the new car smell, that's the energy, the freshness that I'm feeling with this lunation. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy because there's work, there's depth and layers to undo, but also layers, undoing those layers are what distinctly and definitively give you that power that many of you are seeking. So I hope this new moon in Scorpio brings about transformation for all of you, inner transformation, emotional transformation. I hope it allows you to connect to your emotions in a new way, more so on the soul level, so that you really and continuously tap into what it is that you feel. I think this is a test, a universal test. It's always checking in with ourselves to make sure, are we feeling good? And if we're not, what's causing this imbalance? Because life is always very fluid. It's always changing. This lunation is offering us a fresh new wave, a fresh new opportunity to know our truth, because truth is coming. Many of you have already been seeing that in your own life, and I'm saying it very generally. It's not cryptic. It's very generally. Everyone has their own truth, but you're also seeing it unveiled in many different circumstances and situations in your life. So always stay attuned to your truth and follow that, because this lunation, 6 months from now, you're going to see the fruitions of this with the full moon culminating what it is that you've exacted and taken action on. Have a beautiful lunation all. Comment down below if this video has helped. It would be amazing if you could support me by leaving a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are, what it is that you're hoping to change in your life, what this lunation has meant to you and has brought to you. Click the thumbs up button if you like this, if you got any nuggets out of this. Consider subscribing. I'd love to have you be a part of this community. Otherwise, a simple thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon.